When you think about spending extended time with family, especially over important holiday periods like Christmas or Easter, Passover, the High Holy Days or Hanukkah, Kwanzaa or family reunions, what images and memories are conjured up for you? Do you remember the warmth of loving connections, smiles and laughter and delight? Or the tension of strained relationships, the anticipation of raised voices, the reopening of buried emotional wounds, or some combination of love and frustration and disappointment all mixed together? Today's podcast offers you suggestions to help decrease holiday stress. Consider it your playbook for family holiday success. So instead of a gift list, it's more like a success checklist. Hi, this is Dr. Joan Rosenberg, and you are listening to Mindstream, How to Design a Fully Expressed Life. This is podcast number 10. Most of us know someone facing emotional pain and who feels powerless or struggles to have control over his or her life, or wants life to feel more meaningful. I believe every moment is an opportunity for transformation, and I help people reach their dreams, resolve challenges with anxiety, depression, relationships, self-criticism, and speaking up. I help you, coaches and clinicians alike, achieve emotional mastery by choosing to live into your moment-to-moment experiences. Moving toward what is difficult and sometimes painful or unpleasant is what builds emotional strength, unwavering confidence, emotional resilience, rock-solid self-esteem, and lasting transformation. You'll want to stick around till the end of the podcast. I'll be offering some thoughts that will help you approach your holidays in the absence of dread and with far greater ease. Why is it more challenging to be with family during holiday periods or extended family vacations? It's because expectations are raised. It's supposed to be a happy time. In fact, it should be joyous and happy and conflict-free. We're supposed to have deep, rewarding, and fun connections. Yet, we may be under pressure to look good, sound good, behave well, impress others, whatever it might be. So the challenge is we go into these periods with high expectations rather than approaching these holidays or these vacations much more realistically. Let's take a look at the playbook for family holiday success. We'll be looking at expectations as part of this, and because playbooks are all about planning, the first play or the first plan is don't get overextended. Plan ahead, especially regarding your finances, how much you'll want to spend, if you want to be doing any saving. Plan ahead with regard to your energy needs. That might be having to do with sleep. It might have to do with rest. It also might have to do with how you choose to eat. And given the kind of holiday goodies that are available during that time, again, you may want to be monitoring what you're doing in terms of your eating. You'll also want to pay attention to your travel needs. That might include care for your children, or it might also include some breaks from your kids. So again, rest, eating, energy, sleep, finances, lots of different things to consider in terms of planning around the specifics and the logistics of travel and of holiday times. What are your expectations as you plan to be with family members? Regardless of whether you are traveling to meet them or they're traveling to be with you, have you built in time for you to be with them and also allowed for enough separate time so that you can get some rest and perhaps decompress from whatever exchanges may be taking place? What are your expectations regarding how you will relate with family members? So what do you anticipate by way of your connection with your mother or your father, or two mothers and two fathers? How about expectations with grandparents? or extended family members like aunts and uncles, or friends that you grew up with. And of course, your siblings, because those kinds of interactions are often highly charged. So think about what you might anticipate with each family member you'll be seeing. Also think about or identify what's tripped you up in the past. What has not worked? What's been upsetting? Think through how you might like to deal with it now. And while you're identifying what has not worked and what's tripped you up, also identify what has worked and what has helped make things much more harmonious. What can you do to facilitate more of this? It's an opportunity for you to take responsibility so that you recognize your role in tension, or you recognize your role in promoting harmony and promoting connection. Next, anticipate changes and transitions. It might be important here again to think about how you handle change. And change is something I talk a lot about in podcast number 5. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and take a listen to podcast number 5, How to Handle Change. And as you're thinking about changes and transitions, remember certain people that you haven't seen for a while may look, sound, or feel older to you. Siblings or nieces or nephews or others that you know may be growing up, and you might have missed their development, missed some of their growth. And again, it means perhaps dealing with some sadness about missing the deeper connections, the more frequent connections with them. And you might have to face situations where there's more illness, there's more infirmity, or there's more incapacitation. And I think that all touches us deeply. It brings us close to our own experience of mortality, and it makes us think about transitions that might be upcoming that we also may not want to be thinking about. So if you can anticipate what you might see or anticipate what you might experience here, it's likely to make it easier for you to handle that part of the visit. I often talk about kids under 20 and also kids over 20. So if you're that kid over 20, then think about how you're approaching the holidays. Are you approaching the holidays like a kid under 20? Might you be responding like you are still a youth, without adult feelings and without adult emotional resources, without adult responsibilities? Calmness and reason actually rule the day. And it's important for you to not let your reaction get hijacked. If you're in the middle of a conflict, wait until you are on the downside of a reaction to speak. Remember, kindness and calm make a huge difference in terms of making your way through conflicts. Also, choose your battles. You don't have to argue over every little thing. Likewise, don't take things personally. When people are putting other people down, especially if you're the target, it's not about you. It's actually about them. So you can refuse to take things personally. You can choose your battles. You can recognize it's not necessarily about you that a certain conflict is actually about. And as I said earlier, you can take responsibility and look at your role in the tension or your role in the strain that's taking place. Likewise, you can also set better boundaries, what people talk about in terms of emotional boundaries. You can decide how much contact you want with the individuals you have the greatest strain or the greatest tension. You can decide the amount of time you want to put in. Is it an hour or two? Is it a half a day? Is it a full day? Is it several days? Will you meet with the people that you have conflict with in a group? Or will you do it alone? What's important here is that you recognize what your limits are, especially behaviors that let you know it's time to leave. Remember, you're an adult now, and the same old conflicts with your brother or sister or brothers and sisters, your mom or moms, your dad or dads, don't have to repeat, and you can handle them differently. We've often go back to the conflicts that we had when we were kids, and we behave as if those are the only emotional resources that we have to handle the conflict. The key here, again, is remember that you're an adult and you have adult emotional resources. You have calmness that you can choose. You can have reason that you can choose. You can have the pursuit of harmony. You can have compassion. You can have gratitude. There are so many more refined feelings that you can choose in the face of potential strain or the face of potential conflict. And the key here then is to allow for the natural organic flow of unpleasant feelings, sadness, anger, disappointment, frustration. Let that organic flow of unpleasant feelings be part of your overall process of being with family members who you don't normally see for an extended period of time. So let the pleasant and the unpleasant feelings comfortably coexist together. There's certainly a part of each one of us that keeps hoping that things will be better every time we go back to be with family who we haven't seen or haven't been with for long periods of time. And take the time to think about how you will allow yourself to both experience and express what you're feeling. Kind-hearted is the approach I hope you'll take. Thanks for joining me on Mindstream. Remember, please subscribe. And if you deal with anxiety, check out Ease Your Anxiety on Amazon. Please listen to the earlier podcasts. I know that there's a lot of good information there for you to listen to. And be sure to leave me a comment or a question that I can respond to. I look forward to hearing from you. And if you feel so moved, I'd love it if you wrote a review. Remember, simple ideas can lead to profound change and growth. Choose one. Design the life you'd love to live. And until next time, feel, tell, and live the truth of who you are.